right, everybody, we are back. Fresh edition, Fresh Takes Podcast, Russo and Felice. Big episode today, a lot to get to. A little bit earlier than usual, but, you know, we big stuff at hand today in the sports world. So, I'm Paul Russo. Across from me, as always, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Nick Felice. Nick, how you doing? I know you're very excited about for later on. So,
Yeah, it's early today for the podcast, but we know those loyal fans are always watching our show at the same time, every time, whether it's your morning bathroom break or your lunch break. You're watching our show right at the same time. But this one's coming at you a little early on this Tuesday. There's a topic that we're starting with today that I thought we would never talk about, Paul, and
how dare you?
I know you probably thought, but I don't know if we ever would have thought because, you know,
I feel hurt.
You know, NASCAR, it's usually the same winners, seems like, all the time. And those J.J. Yuleys of the world just never seem to win.
J.J. Yuley. Did you just call him J.J. Yuley?
Yuley. And those guys never seem to win. But the impossible happened. And it happened yesterday. So it's in a rain delay.
The impossible, I mean, I wouldn't say the impossible didn't happen or did happen, whatever. Well, obviously, you go kick it off Bubba. I'm very happy about that, being a Bubba fan. So we'll discuss that first. We'll get that out of the way with for everybody.
Michael Jordan was not there, right?
No, he was not at Talladega.
Nah.
MLB playoffs, we'll preview that. Obviously, starts tonight. Then we'll get into our football, NCAA, and then NFL. So we'll do our picks last, right before we get out of here. So,
as you can see by Paul's sweatshirt and hat, this is a Paul Russo-driven podcast. But I'm here as well because it's my show as well.
I don't know about that, but, you know, I would say it's all Paul Russo-driven.
All right.
But anything we get to before we jump in? I mean, it's been...
This is our first episode in October.
True.
We are moving on to the next month.
That's factual.
I've not got my Halloween decorations up, so I'm a little slacking.
Wow, it is unlike you.
Yeah, I might get a couple of new inflatables this year, so I haven't got anything yet.
As long as the football Frankenstein is good.
He's still there. Got to get him out. You know, it's been a little wet these last few days.
It's been it's been a wet like 5 days.
Yes, it has. So we'll figure a day.
Are you still putting him in the usual spot, you think?
Yeah. I gotta learn how to tie him up. I mean, I know how to do it. I just gotta do it.
Do a better job at it.
Yes. Gotcha. Because he tends to blow away a lot. But
I like his spot though over there.
We're gonna step up our game this year. Maybe we'll figure something out.
I'm trying not to give away too much. Obviously, I don't want the people finding out where you live.
If anyone's come down Carroll Ave, expect a good neighborhood.
It's a good neighborhood for Halloween, in my opinion.
Christmas is good, but everyone does Christmas good, you know. But Halloween,
it's an underrated Halloween neighborhood. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
Always has been.
Yeah, the one lady who doesn't live on our street anymore. I remember when I used to be trick or treating as a kid. She used to sit on her porch with a mask on,
try and scare you. Yeah, I remember.
That was tough.
Yeah, tough scenes for you.
Yep. And there's always the one lady that gives out the juice boxes, but you know, it's always good. You know, when
big ups to the person. See, you mock those people. I didn't mind that when I was out trick or treating. You know, a little. You know,
needed it though because you know
chocolate milk. I shout to the person who gave out chocolate milk over on Van Cleef Street. Or was it Daniels? One of those two.
Yep.
But see, I have a problem with like the fruit, with like the raisins, but like chocolate milk or juice, that's just fire. Like that's out of the box.
And there's the people that leave their bowls out.
Yep.
Gotta go bowl hunting. But
we never really did that though.
No, feel guilty if I stole a whole bowl, but
I don't know if I would, but
maybe this year we'll start throwing toilet papers on people's houses and egging them.
At 27 and 26 years old.
You gotta stay true to that.
It's probably when we choose to just live on the edge.
That's all I got.
Well, speaking of on the edge, Bubba Wallace makes history, second African-American to win a NASCAR Cup race, the highest level of NASCAR, first since 1963 and Wendell Scott, Hall of Famer Wendell Scott. So, obviously very momentous. It was obviously rain shortened, but I was able to watch even though I was at work. I was at break when the winning move for him was made. And look, I get why people can sometimes call a rain-shortened race not a real win, blah, blah, blah. But he was in position. He put himself there 10 laps before the rain came. And that last wreck, which kind of triggered the reason why there was a caution in the first place. He was at the tail end of the pack. It was a 25-car pack. He was at the tail end of it. And he came charging up. He did what he had to do. Lights kind of flickered there. I'm not going crazy, right, Nick?
Yeah, it did.
All right, thank you. But, he put himself in position. That's all I can ask. And he's been, look, these super speedways, Daytona and Talladega, he's been trimmed out all year. He's a really good plate racer. And, he did what he had to do. I was ecstatic. I was very happy. Been a while for me as a fan of a driver to get a win. Been pretty much really since 2015. I do it for like a couple other guys, but they're not my main guys like Bubba. So this one just hit different. And like I said, first time since 2015 for me in the Cup Series with Jeff Gordon that I felt this kind of way. And hopefully the first of many more. Obviously, I think it takes a huge weight and monkey off the shoulders of not just Bubba, but 2311, his team, Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin. And another underrated part of this is crew chief Booty Barker. First Cup win for him as well. He's been crew chiefing in the Cup level, whether full years or part-time gigs since 2003. First win for him in 483 Cup starts for him as a crew chief. What's funny is Bubba's best friend at the Cup, best friend is Brian Blaney, and Booty Barker's first crew chief role at the Cup Series was for his dad, Dave Blaney. So it's an interesting little full circle, but so cool, especially, at Talladega for Bubba and given, what's happened to him past year starting right at Talladega and everything that's kind of happened since for him. And just really cool, really emotional. Like I said, I was ecstatic. I think I was messaging everything, right, Nick, in all caps for probably the better part of the night. So the Fry Wagon, as they call it, the Fry Box, McDonald's, first win for McDonald's as a primary sponsor since 1994. So big day of history yesterday, no matter how you really kind of want to look at it. Just quick rundown for those who care about the results. Obviously not a full-fledged race ender, but we'll give you the top 10 quick. Bubba Wallace, obviously first. Brad Keselowski, who I did think would win. If Brad won, he would have broken and become Talladega's all-time winner at the track, which would have been, another reason why Dixie would have mourned, since he would have taken Dale Earnhardt's record. Joey Logano third. Kurt Busch, Bubba's future teammate, came in fourth. Christopher Bell fifth. Chris Buescher came in sixth. Denny Hamlin, good day for him. Locked down anyway into the playoffs, next round of the playoffs because of winning last week. But he came in seventh. Kevin Harvick eighth. Eric Jones ninth. Anthony Alfredo, his first career top 10. Count home 10. So your top 10 there. And yeah, like I said, just really it was a great day. Obviously history making. I think obviously Bubba's done a lot to open the door for open eyes for a lot of people to the sport of NASCAR, and hopefully this carries it on, keeps it going a little bit, because of there's a lot of really good minority drivers coming up the pipeline here, and hopefully this opens more doors for him. Obviously, Bubba had to kick a few down for him anyway and create his own path a couple times, but it's paid off now, and that's pretty cool. So, Nick, I don't know if you really have anything overall with it. Obviously, you're pretty excited for me anyway, but I didn't know. Obviously with it being Monday for one, I didn't know if you were able to watch any of it. It was on NBCSN. I don't know if YouTube TV brought NBC and their affiliates back in time, but I know there's a bit of a dispute there. So, yeah, I didn't know if you saw any or have since seen highlights. So I don't know if you really got anything. But any thoughts overall on it?
I have seen highlights. I did not get a chance to watch the race yesterday, but I'm happy for you. I'm happy for Bubba. A good win. Wish it came before the playoffs. Then he would have been in the playoffs. That would have been special. You're right. There's going to be the people that say, yeah, it's not a true win because it was 3 laps short, whatever it was. But obviously, a win's a win. I'm sure there's a lot of other drivers in this sport that got a win like that. But a win's a win. And it's not like this is out of the blue.
Yeah.
He just came in second place not that long ago. So he's been racing better. So it's definitely good for him. A little bit of momentum for next year.
Yep.
I know he's no relation to the other Wallaces,
No,
right? But
no.
he's got the name.
He does.
Yeah, it's good to see him get the win, and I'm hoping for a big year out of him next year.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting next year because obviously Kurt Busch coming in, 2-car team now, completely new car, obviously going to the Gen 6 next gen car. A lot of unknowns, but yeah, I mean, like you said, this is a perfect momentum builder, really.
Michael Jordan say anything?
Yes, he did release a statement. I'm not too sure fully I can't remember off the top of my head what it said. But
I'm sure it was good.
yeah. I know he allegedly was getting on a plane to go celebrate in Talladega with him, but I don't think he did. I think nobody was able to track the plane actually and stuff like that the way people would do it. Flight track, I think it's called, or whatever. Either way. But yeah, now NASCAR heads to the Roval, end of the round of 12 this upcoming weekend at Charlotte and the Roval. So
Was what, 5 weeks left? 4?
4 after this week 4. Technically 5.
Yeah,
so
5 races left. Yeah.
A lot of stuff looking forward to. Like you said, I mean, perfect momentum builder, really outside of everything else. And, I think a lot of people don't realize, too, like, I mean, a lot of the contracts that they have are only, like, on 1 or 2 year deals for a lot of people. So, I mean, this obviously shows people, like, hey, he was leading SportsCenter at one point last night, I know. Probably was on, I think Fox News even had something on him. So, I mean, he's on all these networks. It's easier to say to McDonald's, hey, re-up with us, or maybe somebody different, like his one other sponsor, like Root Insurance or something like that. So, overall, really good day. Obviously, historic day, but one time for Bubba Wallace. How about that? So, like you said, Nick, momentum builder. Hopefully,
But like you said,
hopefully
first
keep it going.
of many.
First of many. First of many. All right, move on. Get to the other stuff that people really want. The hunt for the World Series, Nick, it is on, officially starting tonight as the Yankees and Red Sox AL wildcard game. But everything is set. Everything is ready to go.
R.I.P. Chaos.
I know you're looking forward. Yeah, just such a downer that we didn't get the full-fledged chaos that we had all hoped for. Alas, nothing you can do. Winner of the wild card games, they go on to face the de facto 1 seeds in each of the sides of the bracket for AL and NL. So the winner of the Red Sox-Yankee game tonight, they'll face the Tampa Bay Rays. White Sox and Astros are the other matchup in the divisional round. NL side, Dodgers versus Cardinals tomorrow night. They'll face the Giants in the DS, and then Braves and Milwaukee play in the other DS matchup. So, a lot of interesting stuff going into these playoffs. Obviously, a lot of hope for chaos ball. You had the Mariners hanging around there. You had the Blue Jays. NL side, you just pretty much had the NL West kind of up for grabs until the last day. But either way, opportunity for a lot of stuff to happen at the end of last week. Didn't quite pan out the way I think a lot of baseball fans, including both me and Nick, thought it would and hoped it would. Seems as though the name of the game going into this playoff again will be pitching, but the injury bug is kind of plaguing a couple teams. Obviously tonight, for instance, J.D. Martinez out for the Red Sox, T.J. LeMahieu out for the Yankees. Dodgers will be without Clayton Kershaw. Unfortunately, it looks potentially like a Tommy John situation heading for him the way it sounds with his injury. We'll see, a lot to be made there. And then obviously you do have some feel-good-ish stories, right? Nobody expected the Giants to be as good as they were this year, and now they are the number 1 seed in the NL side. Record-wise, best team in the MLB.
You got to remember that.
So, obviously they're a force to be reckoned with, on the NL side of things, and really, potentially all of October. So, Nick, obviously, like I said, pitching, big part of this. What are some keys for you, whether for one side of the bracket or, any team really, going forward here because, like I said, injury bug here creeping in a little bit for a couple teams. Tonight, for instance, again, the Yankees pitching Garrett Cole, who is dinged up a little bit. Red Sox turn to Nathan Eovaldi because kind of like they have to. Chris Sale's also dinged up at the moment, also going on short rest. So bullpen's going to be the name of the game. We'll see what kind of happens there. Obviously, one guy I forgot to mention, this came to mind, but Devin Williams for the Brewers, their second best reliever, potentially best, depending on the way you look at it. I mean, broke his hand in a situation where he got mad in celebration after the fact out of the clubhouse scene for the Brewers, right? And he's out for the playoffs. So just a lot going on for some of these teams. What are some key points for you? Like what you're looking forward to? Obviously, it's the time of year that we really enjoy as baseball fans, sports fans in general too. So
yeah. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
I'm an honest man, and I have not watched the MLB playoffs. I actually sat down and watched the game in probably 3 years because I just haven't. I don't really like what Manfred's done to the game. Mm-hmm. I don't like where baseball.
At least there is no runner on second base in the extra innings.
Yes, those are gone forever. So. I hope, but I just don't like where baseball's gone. I don't like the shifts. I don't like starting pitchers coming out with 75 pitches and pitching a good game. I don't like the opener. I don't like the shifts.
Hold on, wait a second though. Neither of those two things, though, as much as I'd love to bash Manfred.
I don't like averages being 230.
None of these are on Manfred, though.
No.
As much as I'd love for them to be on Manfred.
As long as I would be. As he tops on how baseball has gone.
True.
I miss the old baseball. Yes, it would have been nice to see some chaos because I just looked it up. There's only been a few tiebreaker games since they came out with the second wild card. Paul, did you know since they came out with the second wild card, there's only been 3 tiebreaker games. 2013 AL wild card.
Yep.
2018 there was 2 for the NL West and the NL Central. That's it. And so you hope for more of that. And another thing that just tops it on, not really a fan of anybody in the playoffs as a Pirates fan.
Shout out O'Neal Cruz, by the way.
Yep, gonna be a star. Yeah, I mean, I root for my Pirates. I am I'm a baseball fan. I'm a Pirates fan. We got a bright future, but I'm just not a fan of any of the teams. I'm sorry, Yankee fans. I'm not a fan. I don't like the Brewers or the Cardinals. I won't root for the Rays because they're just a computer. I don't like the White Sox because of La Russa.
You're definitely rooting for the Astros.
I don't like for the Astros because they cheat. I don't like the Dodgers, obviously. I don't like the Braves because of the Pirates' pass. And so that leaves me the Giants.
Not a bad team to root for.
So there's my team, the Giants.
You're rooting for them because they're clearly just the baseball counterpoint to your favorite football team.
And they got the best reliever in the game in Tony Watson. And
no, he's not even the best reliever on the team. I know what you're trying to do here, but give some respect to Taylor Rogers.
No. I'll respect to my ex-Pirates, just not respect to Garrett Cole tonight. But it's
No up for Buster Posey.
Ratings and ESPN are happy.
That's another point. I forgot not to interrupt, but the Giants have Brandon Belt hurt too.
Really?
Yeah.
It's amazing what they did this year to outplay the Dodgers.
It really makes you, not to get off topic here, but I remember, what is it, 2 years ago now?
There's the train.
When the Phillies fired Gabe Kapler, and now you see all the stuff going on with the Phillies, right? And it makes you wonder really how much it probably wasn't on Kapler or what was going on.
I think there's more of a Phillies problem than it is a Gabe Kapler problem.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, right?
Yes.
It's Gabe Kapler clearly knows what he is doing.
Yes. Gabe Kapler's not bad. Yeah. Obviously, what he did that Giants team this year, he should be manager of the year unanimously in the NL. But I don't know if they have enough. One thing I wish – I'll blame Manfred on this. One thing I wish Manfred would change is – that the wild card team plays the number 1 seed. It should go by record. They should reseed by records because Now you're in a scenario where you got the Dodgers might play the Giants in a best-of-5 series when you have the Braves and the Brewers, who are probably, 10 games at least worse than them? At least? Playing for a shot in the NLCS.
Yeah.
And this reminds me, of course, of the 2015 playoffs when the Cardinals, Cubs, and Pirates were all the 3 best records in baseball, and they had to play for the NLCS. Then the Mets end up sweeping the Cubs in the NLCS that year, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's still not right. But so I wish they would change that. I don't like that the Dodgers and the Giants, if they do meet, it's going to be in a best-of-5. And I've been an advocate for this change. Make the DS a best-of-7. I don't care that snow is on its way. Make the DS a best-of-7. People want to see best-of-7s. Make the wild card game a best. Don't stop at best-of-3. Make it a best-of-5. I know that's a lot of time off for these pitchers, for these other teams that were in rhythm, and they got their rotation going. Okay, I'll settle for a best-of-3. But get rid of the wild card game, and the only way, people, we are going to get rid of this wild card game if the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers lose these next 2 days. Once that happens, I guarantee the wild card game will be eliminated, will be terminated, will be gone forever. If the Yankees lose tonight and if the Dodgers lose tomorrow, it will be gone by Friday. It will be gone by Friday. You can guarantee that if that happens, the wild card games will be gone.
I beg to differ, but
they will be gone.
You mean to tell me that the MLB would be mad that Boston would still be moving on?
Boston is one of the teams they care about. But they are not the Yankees, and they are not the Dodgers, who they've been dreaming of in the World Series for the last 20 years, maybe 100, maybe 500. They've been dreaming of a Yankees-Dodgers World Series. It has been the Yankees that have been slacking a little bit of that because they haven't been to the World Series since 2009. But
right.
There's a chance of it this year, but they both could lose in this wild card game, and ratings will go down if you lose the Yankees or the Dodgers. You cannot disagree with me on that.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
yes, you cannot disagree on that. But
hear us go down some really weird viewpoints.
It would be great for the Giants. It is tough because the Dodgers do have to play a Cardinals team that has been hot.
Yep.
And the Yankees have to play on the road. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good chance they might lose both those games. But that's why they play the games. As a Yankee fan and as a Pirates fan, we are both very familiar with the wild card game now. You've played in a few now. You won one. I remember you lost one to the Astros that 1 year before they were the Astros.
We did.
And then you won one, I think. I forget how many you've been in. But,
we have.
So you're familiar with the wild card game. It's definitely not fun because it's already Game 7. Start the playoffs. And if you lose, it doesn't feel like you're even part of the playoffs. It just really doesn't feel like that. But, it's a great way to start the playoffs, all for it. It's exciting. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the reason they do it is to put more on the divisions.
Yep.
But what's tough about the wild card is that you play your division so many times, and it just doesn't seem fair when it's another team that has a weak division that gets to play the weak division. They played them 19 times a year against a team that has a tough division. So that didn't really come into effect this year as much. But
you just play the schedule that you got.
But it's tough to glad they have two of them now.
All right, let's do a little prediction style thing here. Obviously, start this with tonight's game. Red Sox, Yankees, who do you got?
Obviously, people know I'm going to be pulling for the Red Sox, but I think the Yankees will win this game.
So, I'm going Yankees, but there's a big caveat here. I think if both bullpens get called on early, the Red Sox will win a bullpen game, I think.
I heard Chris Sale is available.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're gonna fully do there. Personally speaking, I don't know if I'd go that route yet, where you just play your starters to play your or pitch your starters to pitch your starters. But I mean, no matter what, all hands are on deck for both teams in theory. Like I said, if they go to the bullpens, I think the Red Sox are gonna down. I mean, the bullpen that they got, where they have to turn to a Whitlock, right? Obviously Barnes, if you bring up Chris Sale, right? If Chris Sale's available, I have to imagine Tanner Houck's going to be available. It's just tough. It's tough sledding, I think, at that point if you're the Yankees, especially the way the offense has been overall the past really 3+ weeks after the winning streak that they were on. So
I want to know, Aaron Boone, job of the line tonight?
I mean, technically speaking, yeah, but I mean, overall, I think his fate's pretty much decided.
Well, not. If
I think the only way he still manages the Yankees next year is if they win the World Series.
Win?
Yeah.
I think they get there.
I don't know. We'll see. Wild card game tomorrow: Dodgers and Cardinals.
Max Scherzer on the mound.
Yeah. Dodgers are minus Kershaw, obviously, but minus Max Muncy. Wainwright on the mound for the Cards.
Trey Turner led the National League in hitting.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with, in my opinion, what is the hot hand here. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals tomorrow.
No chance. The Dodgers will win this game. But I mean, there is a chance. I mean,
yeah.
As a Cardinals hater, I am not rooting for them. I won't shed a tear if they lose. But the Dodgers, not a fan of them either. Obviously, they got so much money. Dodgers will win this game. I just think Max Scherzer is going to be tough to hit.
Right. Well, we're both leaning on the Yankees side of things, so Yankees-Rays would be that matchup de facto next. In that sense, who do you think? Either way, who do you think would come out on top?
Oh man, the Rays have had the Yankees number.
Yep,
they beat them in the playoffs last year. I gotta assume the computer's got to have a glitch here soon. A computer is not going to win you a championship.
Well, what's tough is, right, I mean, the Rays didn't show it too much in the regular season, but this is playoffs are when you need an ace, and they just don't have an ace with Glasnow being hurt. So,
no. Honestly, as much as I don't like the Yankees, I don't like the Rays more.
Yeah.
Just because what
I was about to say, I know what's coming here.
Just because what they did we cleaned up the mess. We got rid of our GM. We've cleaned up the mess, and I just don't like that they have all our top prospects, which they're going to trade away anyway because the computer tells them to. But the computer's going to tell who to start. I want them to lose bad, so I'm going with the winner of the wild card game beats them.
I'm on Rays, I think, no matter what.
Really?
Yeah.
They got to win for Jeter.
White Sox Astros. This is a series that I think could go a full 5.
I think.
I don't know if the White Sox arms are going to be able to keep up. They're definitely a pitching team down the stretch that faltered pretty good. Carlos Rodon just has not been the same post All-Star break. That being said, Giolito, who has been at the very least consistent all year, don't know if he'll be able to push it over the top for the playoffs. At that point, Dylan Cease is probably your next best option. Him and Lance Lynn. Obviously, Lynn, we know what he can do, but again, past month or so hasn't been as good as he was. Neither has Dylan Cease. I think Houston probably is able to outlast in the battle of Dusty Baker versus Tony La Russa.
Yes, got old school coaches
who don't like each other.
You got some of the best closers in the game in this matchup, Presley versus Hendricks. So I think if their team gets a ninth inning, it's going to lock up the win. I think this one is going to go 5. But I don't think the White Sox have enough. Yeah. I think the Astros will pull out this series.
And outside, we split decision here pretty much, but Giants versus whoever they face, I think the Giants pretty much.
Well, You have the Cardinals.
Yeah, but I still think the Giants would win in a best of 5 over the Cards. I just think they're too good this year. Kind of like a team of destiny type deal, the way some of those Giants teams who won the 3 every other year kind of did.
I think the Giants lose to the Dodgers.
Ooh.
Not because the Dodgers are better. Because it's an odd year. The Giants only won the World
Maybe this
Series.
decade is odd year for them.
That's true. Maybe it's odd this year. But, yeah, the Dodgers, they got a lot to prove still because, let's face it, 2020 asterisk championship. Sure, they had the best team on paper and they won. But it's an asterisk championship. There's no doubt about it. 60 games, playoffs, they had 100 teams in it. Asterisk championship. It will be always an asterisk championship in my mind. Okay. So they got a lot to prove because there's a lot of people that probably think that as well. And, yeah, I think it's an asterisk championship, and they got a lot to prove. I think they'll beat the Giants.
All right. Then obviously the Brewers and the Braves.
I'll be honest with you.
I'm going Crew here. I think the Crew. I mean, they were my NL pick to make the World Series. You know,
they got a great pitching staff.
I think. I think they got their offense. Obviously, not as great as their pitching staff, but extremely underrated all year. You know, a guy like Omar Narvaez behind the dish who just kind of went really under the radar for being as good of a catcher as he was this year. And then, you know, obviously you look at a guy they got mid year and a guy like Willie Adames who just, if he played a full year in the NL, you'd probably make a case for MVP, in all honesty, for him. But I'm going with the Brewers. Craig Counsell's time to shine.
You'll never catch me say a good sentence about the Milwaukee Brewers, and I'm picking the Atlanta Braves in this series. I don't care how many, but I just no Cardinals or Brewers, please.
All right. Well, that's what we got for now. So obviously, as the week go on here, well, you know,
if you guys were thinking about what I'm leaning towards a Dodgers World Series title.
Gosh.
Don't like the Dodgers, but they're unstoppable. They picked up arguably the best pitcher and hitter in the game right now.
Right. Fair enough. College football, Nick.
It's over. Season's over.
I don't know where this is going then with that, but okay. Week 5. Both our teams, unfortunately, took L's this weekend. It is what it is. You know, Cuse loses a heartbreaker. Just a brief moment, Cuse fans. I understand that was a hold, but the refs just have not been calling that like all year. Like they just have not been calling that for some reason. It is what it is. If it was a case of a inconsistency in the call, yeah, I'd be all for being mad. But as somebody who watches the line in football very much so, because I like watching how the trenches work, and because I was a lineman in my extensive football career.
You were arguably a top 500 Miners Academy modified A lineman of all time.
JV, but thank you.
Oh, this is JV days.
They just haven't been calling it. Look, I agree with you. It was a hold, right? But they just haven't been calling all year. You have to move on. It is what it is. It was a very great game for Q still, in my opinion. Garrett Schrader showed up very well, I thought. Obviously another good game for Tucker, but you know, obviously the defense for the first time all year probably showed some cracks, and that's okay. I mean, like I said, this has been probably Cuse's best defense that I've seen collectively. It was bound to happen. It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, you can't blame one missed call for losing the game. You just can't, right? I mean, they should have had a stop there on whatever that third and whatever it was, 8 or 9, whatever, that where Florida State was able to get in the field goal range. It is what it is, you know. Obviously, a big game this weekend against Wake Forest. Wake 5-0, 19th in the country now, leading the way for the ACC. So we'll see how well that goes. But Nick,
you'll be there.
I will be there. Nick, you're fighting Irish. Tough game up against Cincinnati's best team ever, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly aspirations of getting to the playoff for both. Another playoff implicating game that occurred. So, at least for you, what were some differences? Because I wasn't able to watch that game.
I watched
too close. So
I was around. I didn't catch the whole game, but I did catch a little bit of it. And Notre Dame struggling to find their quarterback that game. Obviously, it was a huge deficit at halftime, and they just would have taken a lot in the second half for them to come back. They tried, but Cincinnati played a perfect game plan, and they came out with a big win on the road. Too many Cincinnati fans there I saw. I was not pleased with that. I did not like the sign Notre Lame that the Cincinnati Bearcat mascot brought to the game, but good win for them. Still going to be tough for them to get into the playoff. This absolutely helps. They need Notre Dame to finish off their season at least 10-2, 11-1 to help them become a great quality win. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame, on the other hand, is not looking good because their schedule that was supposed to be good at the beginning of the season has now not looked good. North Carolina has faded. USC has lost their coach. Mm-hmm. Stanford has been back and forth. So this Notre Dame schedule that was supposed to be tough at the beginning of the season with 5 ranked opponents, now they don't have a ranked opponent on their schedule in the remainder of the season. So it's going to be tough for them to get in. They're going to need a lot of chaos that we didn't see in baseball, but they're going to need a lot of upsets because 2 spots are already taken, in my opinion, Paul. I think Alabama and Georgia are going to be in the playoff, and I think neither one of them are going to drop past the 3 seed because they're going to play in the SEC title game, and the loser of that is going to drop to the 3 seed because they're not going to make them play back-to-back games as the 1 versus the 4. So they're going to drop. The winner of that will be the 1 seed, and the loser of that will be the 3 seed. The 2 seed will be the next top team, and the 4 seed will be the second best team after that. So there's 2 spots. I'm not sold on any of those Big Ten teams yet. I thought Oregon might have been there, but they lost this weekend. Arkansas did not look good against Georgia.
No, they did not.
Florida got beat, so you got to count them out.
You mean to tell me that Michigan or Penn State don't jump for you? Even Ohio State still kind of?
I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of madness in that Big Ten coming here soon.
I mean, usually is. Iowa too. Iowa's in the top 4.
Mm-hmm. So is Penn State.
Yeah.
Wisconsin,
I'm
not
just saying,
as good.
I'm just saying,
Are you sold on Michigan?
I'm not sold on them, but I'm sold on Penn State at this point, I'd say. I'm still sold on, Ohio State.
I just feel like there's going to be they're all going to lose.
Well, I mean, that's what that conference usually ends up doing to each other.
And it usually ends up being Ohio State in the end.
But this is where, like I said, this year, I think this is the year where you kind of see some topsy-turviness. And it's showing. Clemson's not going to make the playoff, clearly. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, does Cincy get in this year, right?
I think they got a shot.
Do we have 2 SEC teams in? Because that's I don't know if it's probably going to happen. I think a lot of it depends here on what happens down the stretch, right? Because obviously Georgia still has to play Florida, right? No matter what, they're probably going to be facing Alabama here
in the championship
at least once. I can't remember if they play right. I don't think they do this year, but
now that'd be interesting if they played regular season.
But I mean, clearly you got teams on Georgia's side of the division that don't mind causing some ruckus, right?
Oklahoma's the top in the Big
12. But look at Kentucky, and this is why I brought it was a week of upsets. Kentucky upsets Florida, pretty much tanks Florida's outside chance of playoff aspirations, right? Yeah, clearly Kentucky's good enough to do it again. Should the opportunity arise with Georgia. Obviously, you mentioned we have Oregon who lost. Wasn't upset, but Wisconsin obviously losing to Michigan. It was just the week of upsets that was. It
back-to-back weeks.
It was tough. It was a tough. You're right. It's been a rough back-to-back weeks for some of these playoff hopeful teams, and like I said, I think this is the year of topsy-turviness potentially.
And that's what Notre Dame needs in more of these weeks.
More chaos.
They need to win out, obviously. 11-1. It will give them a shot. And a shot at it. They'll be in the conversation. It just depends how many times they lose. Big Ten, they need madness in that Big Ten because they need to start losing some of those teams. But I think there's a lot to play still. Right. It just disappoints me.
Well, that's the key part, right? I mean, this is week 5.
It just disappoints me knowing the end game. As much as the craziness that could happen before the championship, just knowing that Alabama is probably going to win again, I don't know, it sucks. But I think Georgia can get them a shot. But how many times have we said that?
Yeah.
We've said that a lot about Georgia.
Well, and I mean, obviously, there's a part with Georgia too. Still, is JT Daniels being hurt? I mean, Stetson Bennett has looked really good to the point where when JT comes back and is 100%, I don't know if I move on from Stetson. That'd be a tough call for Kirby to do, and Kirby's been known to kind of choke some mental decisions a little bit here, since he's got this Georgia job. So, I don't know. I mean, I think I'd stick with Stetson, but who knows. And obviously, Arkansas kind of probably takes their aspirations to a degree. But
what's the big game this week?
Well, I suppose it depends how you're kind of looking at it, right? I know game day. Game day is going to Dallas for the Red River rivalry. Not a bit of a surprise. Obviously, Texas came back into the rankings this week. I still think Oklahoma's going to blow the doors off of them. Texas is not that good. I mean, other than that,
two future SEC teams.
Georgia, yeah, that's true. Yeah, forgot about that. See, that's crazy. You forget about stuff like that the way this year's already kind of been college-wise. I mean, there are two very big. Well, actually, if you want to make the case, there's really 3 big ranked versus ranked matchups outside of the Red River rivalry. Arkansas, Mississippi, 13-17. Pretty much, if you're one of those, whoever loses that game, that's probably your playoff chances are officially done. Right?
Yeah.
That game is in Oxford, Mississippi, by the way.
A lot of drama going on at Ole Miss right now. Who's getting Archie Manning's kid?
Yep.
Texas?
The other ranked matchup, SEC-wise, 2 Georgia on the road in Auburn, who is 18th. Big win for them coming out of LSU. First win in LSU since like 1991 or something like that. But yeah, another big game there. Obviously, I think Georgia will win that handily, probably. You never know, though. Like I said, it's just where, the Kirby stuff kind of comes into play a little bit. And then, obviously, this is where people thought game day should have gone, and I do agree with them. I think this is probably where they should have gone. Number 4, Penn State on the road at number 3, Iowa. But that's probably also where we'll have Big Noon Saturday at the very least.
That's not game day?
That is not game day.
Wow.
Yep. That one is probably the biggest playoff implication game, though, of the weekend, when you think about it, right?
What time is that?
3 versus 4. 4 o'clock. I believe it's on Fox.
See, even ESPN not buying the Big Ten.
I believe it's Fox, but, those are the 2 teams where, I don't think if you lose, if one of those teams, if you lose, I don't think that necessarily knocks you out of the playoff race. But we know the way the voters kind of lean on some SEC stuff as opposed to, obviously, Big Ten. Nick, you brought it up, right? Big Ten beats up on each other. This is going to be really kind of the second battle in that. We already had, the Wisconsin-Penn State battle. Penn State now goes, and that was also on the road for Penn State, that Wisconsin game. This is on the road for them in what will be a tough environment in Iowa. So, going to be a good game. I mean, other games.
I like Penn State.
Other games of note, if you want to call it that, for over the weekend. Michigan State is in Rutgers. That will be a tough matchup for them. I think Michigan State, though, will still probably prevail. Obviously, our favorite teams, Wake Forest is in the Dome, 3:30 on Saturday. Notre Dame, going to be a tough road game for them. They're in Blacksburg to take on Virginia Tech, but I still think Notre Dame all day in that game overall. But it will be tough.
It will be tough.
It's a tough environment. Alabama's on the road at A&M. Don't think we'll see an upset there, but you never quite know. sometimes with that. Personally, I'm kind of hoping for a little bit of Cass, so, but I think Alabama
College football
for sure
needs it. An Alabama loss.
And then Kentucky, 16th-ranked Kentucky hosting LSU. Ed Orgeron starting to be on the hot seat. That seat's getting a little bit hotter for him.
Really?
Yep. From stuff I've seen.
Pete Carroll?
No, not no. But obviously LSU's not afraid to go after some controversial guys, right? Obviously some stuff. I don't want to speculate too much, but we all have seen at this point probably the stuff with Urban Meyer. I don't know if Urban will go back to college. I think I don't personally think he really wants to. Personally, I don't think he really wanted to do the Jacksonville job anyway. But I think he was kind of being sick on TV or something. But LSU, the athletic department, they enjoy going big fish hunting. Boy, that would be quite the get if you got Urban. By the way, brief shout out, SMU ranked again. They're back ranked, so
Clemson not
go
ranked.
Mustangs. Yep. Anything you're looking forward to weekend wise college football?
Penn State's gonna win that game.
Oh, cool. Calling the shot.
Not buying Iowa.
I agree. I think I agree. That's probably going to be a fairly low scoring affair, right? But Iowa did go over on their own last week against Maryland Friday night. The over-under on that game was 44, and Iowa put up 44 on their own. So, things to keep of note. All right. Last topic, the NFL. Been a weird episode, obviously, going in and out of everything, but those New York teams, all about New York this weekend, I tell you what. Buffalo keeps rolling. The de facto New York teams and the Giants and the Jets, they get on the board finally.
And Washington,
the victory.
500.
That's right. So obviously, Bills win a very wet game.
Minus
in
18
Orchard
and a half.
Park.
Looked pretty good.
It did. It did look very good for them, and it ended up clearing and then some.
Didn't start off good, but
No. Your Giants, Danny Dimes. People did not know this, I don't think, going in this weekend. Daniel Jones finally threw his first interception on the year this past weekend. And it was on a last play of the first half heave Hail Mary.
Wow. So really not really.
Yeah. Daniel Jones, I think, is like the fifth most efficient quarterback this year or something like that. I saw he's actually had a very good.
Do you know who has the most rushing touchdowns this season? With 5.
Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Another ex-New York quarterback.
Yeah, another ex-Jet. Zach Wilson finally gets a dub. Bit of an ugly game there still, but
Titans.
Makes you wonder about the Titans a little bit here.
They got a great running back, but
yeah, that man, it's so weird because that defense is always hyped up to be really good for the most part, and they are struggling.
Vrabel hot seat?
I wouldn't say so, at least not yet. But his style of coach, and this isn't a knock on his style of coaching, right? But it's the same reason why I think Dan Campbell's great for the Lions right now, but I don't know if he's going to be great in 5 years from now, right? And Vrabel, is Vrabel at the 5-year mark?
It's got to be close.
I think he's either at year 4 or year 5, right? But those coaching styles, especially at the pro level, they don't really last too long when you think about it, right? I mean, I think really that style, the only person who went long in one place might have been Mike Ditka with the Bears. And even then, that was kind of in and out within like a decade, give or take, pretty much. So, like I said, I mean, those style like the Ryan brothers and their father, just it didn't last all that long in their stints where they've been. So, it'll be interesting, I think, there. Elsewhere, it was a weird weekend, admittedly, football wise. I think in the NFL. This might be a little bit of a hot take, and that's fine. I don't really care, right? But watching Red Zone, sure there may have been a lot of scoring overall, but the football was ugly this weekend. It was just not good football for the most part from the Shield. And I get there's going to be whatever, but it's been a harp I've been playing on here for the past couple of years. Just that overall, the place has not been good. And, I think I think for the first 3 weeks, for the most part, it was good football overall. And this week, it's took kind of like a step back. And look, I get it. I mean, it's week 4. We are, for all intents and purposes, we are a quarter of the way through the season, technically, really. Once we get through this week, it's officially a quarter of the way. But, we're pretty much at that quarter season rank. Month in, guys are already hurt. Like, there are a lot of people who got hurt this week. I know, for instance, Washington put 2 people on the IR who are probably, one for sure out for the whole year in Boston with a torn pectoral. Another one of their other defensive backs who their fear is probably going to be out for the year. But, it just got to I think we're at the point now where, obviously the fatigue comes in. I think the buys start after this week, right?
Yes.
So, we're in that thick of things in the NFL where, fatigue comes into a little bit of a degree, and so do the injuries. I mean, look at Big Ben. Big Ben at this point, I think, is running on nothing, right? And apparently he's playing through another injury.
He looks like Phillip Rivers last year.
Yeah, but Phillip at least looked competent out there. Like, Ben just does not look competent. Phillip, I still feel like I could go to Phillip Rivers last year or Drew Brees last year, and if I needed them to go to make a drive, I think that they could probably still do it. I can't say that about Ben this year. Like, I just can't. And it's been that way for sure, all of last year when you think about it. You can make the case for probably 2 full seasons. I don't know quite about that, but...
And they don't have another quarterback.
They definitely got some problems in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
We said we said right here that we thought Cincinnati was for sure going to be the bottom of that division. And you want to know what? They probably still might be, right? But compared to the Steelers, like, they don't look bad really at all, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Burrow's playing really well.
That Bills loss can look bad at the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, if it's their only loss on the year, I don't necessarily think so. I think they'll lose, obviously, for sure, one more time in the regular season. But, like, that's just football.
Bills have also beaten 3 backup quarterbacks.
But the Bills also have the best point differential in the NFL right now by, like, I think it's like 50 points or something ridiculous like that.
Well, it's like the last 3 games have been like 118 to 21.
Yeah. I mean, they are... You got to give a lot of credit to the Bills because it could have been and it's still, like I said, it's still, even though we're a quarter of the way, even though there's fatigue, it's still early on in the year, right? But, I mean, a lot of times with these NFL teams, I mean, prime example kind of in a way are the Titans, who are kind of sleepwalking a little bit and whatever. But when you have that good year, a lot of times it's easy to come in and think it's a cakewalk and sleepwalk through the first part of the year, and the Bills just haven't been doing that. And a lot of credit to Josh Allen. He's looked really, 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 really sharp the past couple weeks. And that defense is definitely a little bit better than I thought they were going to be. Now, that being said, I think Poyer was out this past week. I think, but the Bills do a really good job. Everybody does a really good job there at cycling in and out when they need to and everything. So, I mean, we're all kind of saying it might be the Bills here, and it's hard to go against that right now. It really is.
Yeah, but shout out to the second place New York Jets.
That's true.
My Super Bowl prediction, getting the big win. But just a fantasy note for you fantasy owners out there. Keep in mind, Week 5 and Week 6, there is a 9:30 a.m. game. 2 games in London these next 2 weeks.
That's true.
At 9:30 a.m. Got some of the best teams out there. Yep.
We're sending the best in each league over.
I believe it's...
Or conference, rather. My bad.
Mm-hmm. Was it Jets-Falcons this week?
Jets-Falcons this week.
And then it's Dolphins-Jaguars next week. So, so we got some really good teams to show off over in London. So I think the biggest takeaways from this week is just the question marks, Paul, of who is the best team in each conference right now. We talked a little bit about this last week. And I think after 4 weeks, the 2 best teams in each conference right now is definitely not the Cowboys in the NFC. I know a lot of people have been saying it. Have you heard that? A lot of people saying it.
Well, I had a conversation today with somebody, and they brought up a good point that they think, and this is coming from a Cowboys fan, that they don't think it's sustainable. But really in the division that they're in, it is. Yeah, I mean, I'll let you go first here because obviously you're early. But the Cowboys aren't. But I don't think it's ludicrous to think they're bad. It's ludicrous to think that they're bad.
Paul's not going to agree with my picks right now after 4 weeks. It's not the Cardinals in the NFC. It's the Green Bay Packers who are the best team in the NFC.
Ooh.
And in the AFC,
I agree with you on the Cardinals front, but ooh.
In the AFC, it's the Los Angeles Chargers are the best team in the AFC. Ooh. Those are my 2 picks.
Ooh.
Paul, I know you do not agree with that, but who are your 2 picks?
I mean, they're not they're not wrong, but they're not right. I mean,
still Browns in the AFC?
No, Bills.
Really?
Yeah. NFC's a little bit trickier. There's a lot of interest. I mean, I still think the Bucs. But, I mean, I'd go probably the Rams second. Here, my issue with Green Bay is just going back to Aaron Rodgers. I can't trust him. I just can't.
It's interesting. You didn't even mention Cardinals either.
The
only undefeated team.
I don't know. If we'll get into the prediction side of things, but yeah, I'd go Rams over the Cardinals still at this point.
I would too, even though the Cardinals outplayed them on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean
at the Rams.
Yeah.
I still go, but teams to not sleep on though. I'm gonna say teams to not sleep on still.
Mm-hmm. We're listening.
I'm gonna say the Seahawks in the NFC, and I'm gonna say the Miami Dolphins in the AFC. I've been pretty hating on the Dolphins of late, but I think if they get their Tua back, watch out for them.
All right, Nick, we're starting to get up against the clock a little bit to a degree, but let's get our predictions here. Obviously, what everybody's been waiting for. Thursday night at 3.
Why?
What? Is this our first really good Thursday night game since week 1? I think so. It's the Rams at the Seahawks.
Whoa, I didn't like that comment at all. That Washington Giants game was a classic. They've been great games.
Sure.
Who's this? Who's you say?
Rams and Seahawks.
At the Seahawks.
It is.
I got Seattle in this game.
I want to take Seattle, but Gut's telling me to take the Rams.
All right.
Gut is telling me to take the Rams. This game.
We move on to London.
I am not waking up deliberately early for this game in the slightest.
Better set your lineup, though.
Yes. Jets and Falcons. Falcons are the de facto home team.
Better set your lineup if you do have a Jets or Falcons player on your team.
I don't know who it would be on either side, but yes.
Calvin Ridley. But
Cordero Patterson at this point.
Yeah. I don't think the Jets win 2 in a row.
Yeah, no, neither do I.
I think, even though I don't think Atlanta's good either.
This game is the exact opposite of my lock of the week. I don't trust either of these teams.
I would stay away from this game.
Yeah.
I would stay. When I mean stay away from this game, I don't mean just betting. Watching.
In general.
Watching, radio, listening.
In fact, drop your fantasy players. Yeah. Actually, to be fair. Oh, no, wait, he's not on Falcons. I'm good.
Do not just stay away from this game.
This is not pleasant.
I got Falcons.
First of the Sunday afternoon 1 o'clock games.
Oh, back over in America.
Back across the pond. Patriots at the Texans. Are me and you on the same plane with this one?
I got a bad feeling. I think we got a Tom Brady hangover here. And I think the Texans get the win at home.
Same.
But that quarterback for the Texans is terrible.
Davis Mills. Yeah, he's not.
But I still picking the Texans.
They really need to rely heavily on that run game.
Yep. Texans.
I got a sneaky feeling as well about the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm going to take them, though.
Take a Patriots.
It's tough.
That's a smart play.
I'm going to go with the Patriots, but I'm with you. I think that game gives me strong whoever has that ball, that last possession vibes. Lions at the Vikings. I expected a little bit better out of the Lions last week against the Bears, not going to lie. Also expected a little bit better out of the Vikings against the Browns last week, but I feel like we also expected more out of the Browns against the Vikings last week. So
the Lions and Jaguars are the 2 winless teams. Mm-hmm. They haven't been playing like 0-4 teams, but taking the Vikings at home.
I'm going to as well. If this game was in Detroit, I probably would have flipped the pick, though.
Really?
Yeah. Saints at Washington. This the line right now I saw opened at even.
I'm taking Washington at home.
I want to. The issue with the Saints right now is they're starting to get a lot more Taysom Hill again in there, and that's just I don't think that's very conducive to a good environment.
Mm-hmm.
Never have, probably never really will. I'm with you, but again, this is a game where I think I would stay away from if you're betting or anything like that.
I would too.
Eagles at the Panthers.
I got Sam Darnold bouncing back.
Same, I got the Panthers as well.
I still think the Eagles are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFC.
I don't know about that anymore, but yeah. The game of the week, Titans at Jags.
I got a bad feeling about this Titans team.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jags getting their first win of the season this Sunday.
I think Trevor Lawrence is going to pick up his first win of the season.
That being said, it might be Urban Meyer's first and only win in the NFL, but I'm on the Jags.
They can't lose 20 in a row.
Correct.
I think it's 18.
Oh, it's at 19.
Oh, it's at 19 now.
Yeah. Never tweet, kids. Battle for Florida. Miami goes up I-75 to play the Buccaneers.
Hate the Bucs.
I got to take them, though.
Yeah. Jacoby Brissett is not winning that game. Bucs.
Broncos at the Steelers. Two teams going in interesting directions.
This is an interesting one. It's another great chance for the Broncos to win.
Also a great chance for the Steelers to right the ship, admittedly.
Who are you taking?
I'm going Denver, I think. Let me just jump ahead as to the why.
Why, Paul?
Defensively, they clearly are good enough. Matter of offense, if they can keep up. Obviously, they might be without Teddy Bridgewater.
That's exactly why.
That being said, we are now in a very weird time where I would take Drew Lock over Ben Roethlisberger in their current states.
I agree with that.
I think just the way that line is, too, for the Steelers right now, that front seven for Denver is playing really, really well. They've been able to keep pressure up extremely well. I mean, they might have lost the game against the Ravens, but the amount that they were able to get to Lamar this past weekend was really, really good. Mm-hmm. And you give me that option, you give me that opportunity with a line like Pittsburgh and a quarterback like Ben, who clearly just, I mean, he's pretty much just standing there at this point.
Yeah.
All the reason in the world, I think, to take Denver.
I'm taking Pittsburgh. I think they're going to get a big win this week. Mike Tomlin still has never finished under 500 for a season. Mm-hmm. And if he wants to avoid doing that, he's going to have to win this game against a backup quarterback in Drew Lock at home.
Last of the 1 o'clock games, Green Bay at Cincinnati.
On to Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Green Bay pulls off this win at home.
Yeah, I'm going Green Bay. I'm going Green Bay as well. I was just doing my best Belichick.
Yep.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Belichick's going to watch himself.
First of the 405s. There are two of them this week. Again, Bears at the Raiders. Bears don't know who they're starting a quarterback again. Raiders looking for a big bounce back. I'm going to go with the Vegas Raiders.
I'm going with Vegas. Yep. Rolling the dice.
I see what you did there. Browns at the Chargers. Another potential AFC playoff matchup here.
Browns at the Chargers.
Yes. Baker looking about. Baker needs a bounce. That was one of Baker's worst games.
He needs this.
Yeah.
But I like the Chargers at home, even though majority Browns fans there, as it always is.
Yeah. This one's a tough matchup. This is one of those stay away from for all like the right reasons, right? Because of how good of a matchup this should be. That Browns defense is clicking in a way I have not seen a Browns defense click before. But boy, oh boy, Herbert's looking so good still right now. He's connecting with his receiving options extremely well. I think it's going to be a tight game. I'm with you though. I'm a lean Chargers.
Really?
Yeah. That being said, like I said, this has playoff rematch written all over it though. First of the 425s, this is definitely Fox's game of the week right here. Giants at the Cowboys.
100%. And the Giants are going to get this win. They are going to go into Dallas. Daniel Jones.
Why?
Saquon Barkley. We are going to go in there.
Jason Garrett redemption.
Yes. It's about time, and Giants are going to shut up those Cowboy fans this week.
Wish I could be with you, Nick, but I just can't. Going Cowboys. Key thing with Cowboys will be that defense again, though. If that defense continues to just keep being serviceable and average, might be just enough. Here's the game I kind of alluded to a little bit when we were discussing the best team in the NFC, 49ers at the Cardinals.
It's a great game.
Yep. Question mark at quarterback again here.
Yeah, for the fifth straight week, It is a question mark at quarterback for the Niners.
But this time it's health-related.
Yeah. And that's why I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I'm going to go with the Cardinals in this game. Kyler Murray playing like an MVP.
Yep.
I think he gets this win at home.
Cardinals are 2-0 against division rivals this year. This is going to be their first loss. I'm going 49ers. As good as the Rams' defense is at times, as good as the Seahawks' defense is at times, this 49ers defense might be overall the second best in that division for sure. Probably right behind Arizona, in all honesty. You know, you talk about, Nick, you brought it up, right? Every streak has to come to an end. So I think this is the week. I think Cardinals a little bit back down to earth this week against the 49ers.
Undefeated Dolphins going to be celebrating this weekend?
Might be. Just might be. Sunday night. Biggest game on the year potentially so far here. Bills at Kansas City.
Bills on Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
Something I never would have ever seen. I think it's happened before recently.
Last year.
But they never used to be on there.
It's true.
And
in our lifetime, anyway.
They weren't on like any night games for like a lot of years there. But good to see them on TV. Mm-hmm. Tough place to play. Prime time game.
Chiefs bounced back in a good way against Philly.
Mm-hmm. The Chiefs are still the king of the AFC. Defensively, not the king of the AFC, but they got the best quarterback in the game. Taking them.
Bills fans everywhere rejoice.
I know a lot of Bills fans think Josh Allen's the best.
I'm going Josh Allen. I'm going the Bills.
Really?
They're riding a really great amount of momentum, I think. Again, though, great game, but for all the right reasons, probably stay away from it.
Keep in mind.
Mm-hmm. I will say this. That's probably a great game to hammer an over on, though.
The Bills are 0-1 against starting quarterbacks this season.
Stop.
And it's Big Ben.
Monday Night Football, Colts at the Ravens.
Who put Carson Wentz on primetime?
I'm going the Ravens, obviously, here.
I'm going to Ravens. I like what Lamar Jackson said last week. Did you hear about the end of that game?
No.
So the Ravens were trying to set some record for 100 rushing yards as a team for a certain amount of games in a row.
Oh, is this why the Fangio thing and everything? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
They were at 4 seconds left. They just got the ball back.
Yep.
The knee down, right? Need the ball down.
Wrong.
Lamar Jackson, QB option, runs 5 yards, falls to the ground.
Yep.
I liked what he said. John Harbaugh was like, "Oh, this is a record that you just can't pass up."
Yep.
And Fangio, was Denver coach, was like, we had stopped him. He's a defensive-minded coach.
Yeah.
He's like, he was excited to stop him.
Both defensive-minded coaches.
But Lamar Jackson said to the reporter, he's like, to be honest, I could give a crap about this record.
Yeah.
I'm just happy about the win. I respect it as a quarterback.
Yeah.
Got a lot of love for Lamar Jackson. And he's going to beat Carson Wentz and Philadelphia Eagles great Carson Wentz, Super Bowl champion Carson Wentz this weekend.
I don't know where this is going now.
The Ravens will kill the Colts.
All right. Lock in those picks, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So that wraps up.
Go do your parlay, 16-way parlay.
Yeah. That wraps up the show for the week. Appreciate everybody for tuning in at whatever point you are, listening, viewing, rating, subscribing, all the fun stuff. Do this thing every week. Nick, who are you shouting out today?
Today I'm shouting out a special one. I've shouted out her before. My sister, Samantha Felice.
Hi, Sam.
It's her birthday on Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yep. It's also Andrew McCutcheon's birthday on Sunday, which is definitely better than hers. Just kidding. But
whoa.
But
Sam, I think your birthday is better than Andrew McCutcheon's.
That's her birthday. She's down in Asheboro, North Carolina, teaching as a guidance counselor. Miss you, Samantha. Have a good one. Shout out.
All right. Thanks, Nick. As always, everybody, again, we appreciate you tuning in at whatever point you are, whether live or after the fact. Certainly appreciate it. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe. All the fun stuff for Finger Lakes Fun, they help us out. Make sure you share. How about if you share a little bit for us and get us going? Till then, we'll see you next week.